Hi guys and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is of course Cameron and welcome back today to another live stream. It looks like today could be the day that Rafa Benitez is announced as the new Everton manager. It was on Sky Sports earlier this morning that Rafa Benitez has arrived at USM Finch Farm in a people carrier, albeit you couldn't see him in the back of the car, but Vinny O'Connor believes that he was in the back of the car and is now at USM Finch Farm. Vinny O'Connor also said that Rafa Benitez is due to meet with Duncan Ferguson, Leighton Baines and David Unsworth throughout the day ahead of his official appointment as the new Everton manager. Obviously we heard last night from Dominic King, from The Telegraph, from various sources, Sky Sports, you had Fabrizio Romano all coming out and confirming or stating that Rafa Benitez has signed a 3-year contract with Everton and he is due to become the next Everton manager. I think Jay Burt from The Telegraph was first to come out and say that Rafa Benitez to Everton is a done deal, and there'd be more later on in the day. You then had Dominic King saying that it was a done deal and it's a 3-year contract, and then various other sources sort of ran with that story that Rafa Benitez has officially agreed the deal to become Everton manager and he will sign a 3-year contract. We also had some updates on the announcement. You had, Sky Sports coming out and saying that it would be Wednesday. I think The Telegraph said that it would be Thursday. And then you had a couple of other journalists coming out and saying it would be Wednesday as well. The Athletic, come out last night and said that it is due to be announced today. So it looks like today is going to be the day, doesn't it? It's announcement bingo time now. If you're watching live, get your times in the live comments. What time do you think Rafa Benitez will be announced as Everton manager? This is the best part of any announcement day, isn't it? When we all start guessing the time that he's going to be announced and someone will say, yeah, it's bang on, it's going to be 12, and then it'll get to 10 past 12 and they'll go, oh no, I meant it's going to be 1, and then it'll get to 1 and it's, oh no, I meant it's going to be 3. It's boss, it's absolutely boss. So get your times in the live comments if you're watching live. If you're enjoying, leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe as well. If you're watching the YouTube video and he hasn't been announced yet, get your times in the comment section down below of the YouTube video, and let's try and guess what time Rafa Benitez will be announced as new Everton manager. But that is the case, isn't it? Let's be honest. There's no point sitting here and saying it might happen, it mightn't happen. It isn't. We don't know until it's confirmed. Listen, Rafa Benitez is at USM Finch Farm today. The news that we've sort of, we've guessed would happen for about the last week or so now is starting to become, a reality. And like I said, all of those various different journalists and publications coming out last night and confirming that a deal had been agreed and that he's due to be announced over the coming days. Rafa Benitez arriving at USM Finch Farm today. He wouldn't be arriving at USM Finch Farm today if a deal hadn't been agreed and if he wasn't set to be announced as the new Everton manager. Now, I don't know how Everton will announce him as the new manager. I don't know whether it'll be via a press conference. I don't know whether it'll just be a simple announcement, on social media. Here you go, here's the new Everton manager. We're going to get to work now, or whether it'll be, again, a big, fancy video like it was with Carlo Ancelotti and various other managers in the past. I assume, if I'm gonna guess, I'd assume it would be just a plain sort of statement, to be honest, because I don't think they're going to try and overdo this. Everton, there's 2 ways Everton can go about this. We mentioned it a couple of days ago. They can either spin a massive PR spin on it and try and make the appointment look absolutely unbelievable and try and get those Evertonians that are completely against Rafa Benitez coming in to sort of jump on the on the train and be like, yeah, actually, do you know what, this video or this collection of images or whatever has made me think, yeah, do you know what, this is the right appointment for the club. Or they could go the other way and just not do any of that, not try and sugarcoat it, not try and dress it up, and just basically come out and release a blanket statement. Rafa Benitez is the new Everton manager. These are the reasons as to why we believe he's the right man for the job, and now we're going to get on with what we've got to get on with. Because let's not forget that Everton, the Everton players are due back in on Monday for the first day of pre-season. So pre-season starts in less than a week. And still, to this minute, we haven't officially announced our new manager. Now, obviously, we know it's going to be Rafa Benitez, and that is likely to be at some point today. I think The Telegraph said it'd be tomorrow, but, with him arriving at USM Finch Farm today, I would assume it would be today. A lot of other sources, Sky Sports, The Athletic, various other sources saying it'll be today. So, it will be Rafa Benitez. Of course, it will be Rafa Benitez. But it's still, to this minute, not officially announced as Rafa Benitez. So still, at this minute, Everton haven't got a new manager and the players are due back in on Monday. So work needs to start getting done, and Rafa Benitez and whoever else at Everton needs to get their head down and crack on straight away. There's no time for, massive montages or taking them away for a week to do this interview in the middle of the Maldives or somewhere like that. There's no time for that whatsoever. We just need to get him in, tell him to get to work, and everybody else at the club needs to get to work, because again, let's not forget, we need 4 or 5 players this summer if we want to seriously improve this squad. We finished last season, and we all sat here at the end of last season saying, yeah, it's going to be dead good next season, because we'll sign at least 4 or 5 players. We'll bring in at least 4 or 5 players to improve the squad that are going to, hopefully turn Everton into a European challenging side. And then a week after the season had finished, we lost our manager, and for the last 4 weeks, it's been 4 weeks yesterday, we've been on this managerial merry-go-round and this search for a new manager, and we've sort of all forgot that we still need serious improvements made in this squad. We still need to bring in, for me, 4 or 5 players. We need a right back. We need a right back tomorrow, effectively. Now that hopefully over the next couple of hours, the manager situation will be done and dusted and finished off. Now we can put that to one side. We need to go out and get a right back now, because the right back we were heavily linked with in Denzel Dumfries has been, Netherlands have been knocked out of Euro 2020. Is Denzel Dumfries still a realistic option? I don't know. He was absolutely brilliant in the competition, arguably, a contender for player of the tournament. He won't get it because Jordan Pickford will get it, because Jordan Pickford's been unbelievable, but is that still a realistic signing, given how well he performed, and given that there's probably other teams in Europe who are sort of sniffing around him now and thinking, actually, do you know what? Yeah, we'll go in and we'll bring him in. And if he's not a possibility now, who's next in line? Who is second to Denzel Dumfries? Who is third? If we can't get number 2, we still need a right back. We need a right winger. We need a left winger. We need a centre back. We need a centre midfielder. We need a lot of, we potentially need a backup striker as well. We need a lot of players this summer, and like I said, we're back in pre-season training on Monday, so there's not a lot of time to get all of this done before we know it. The first game of the season will come about, and we'll be playing Southampton at Goodison Park, and hopefully we've brought in the right players to be able to turn up in that game and be confident to get the 3 points. But if we turn up with this current squad of players, yes, I'd be confident that this current squad of players is better than Southampton, but I certainly wouldn't be confident that we'll do anything next season in terms of league finish. I would believe it would be a bang mid-table mediocre finish again, because we desperately need improvements to this squad. So that's one thing I would say that is a real positive that we can all take, whether you're backing Rafa Benitez or not, whether you're behind Rafa Benitez or not, whether you think it's a good appointment. I think one thing we can seriously all take from this is that now, finally, or hopefully in the next couple of hours or next day or so, whatever it may be, hopefully we can put this managerial stuff to one side and we can actually start looking at going and improving the squad, because it doesn't matter who's on the sideline, does it? Let's be honest, it doesn't matter if it's Rafa Benitez, it doesn't matter if it's Carlo Ancelotti, it doesn't matter if it's Pep Guardiola, it doesn't matter if it's me, it doesn't matter if it's Matty or Chris or Big Nozzer or Dan or Tom or Jack or C plays in the comment. It doesn't matter who it is standing on that touchline. It's the players on the pitch that win your games of football. It's the players on the pitch that score your goals. It's the players on the pitch that, ensure that the opposition team don't score goals. It's the players on the pitch that win games of football. Yes, the manager's tactics and the manager's style and setup obviously has a big part to play in that, but let's be honest, it's the players on the pitch that make the difference, and at the moment we haven't got those players on the pitch for me to be anything serious in the Premier League, seriously challenging for Europe, seriously challenging at the top end of the league. We haven't got those players to do that, so we need to put this managerial stuff to one side now. Forget about it. If you back Rafa Benitez, brilliant. I've said it before and I'll say it again, I'm an Evertonian, so I will always back Everton. Ultimately I can't subscribe to this thought process of wanting Everton to fail, or wanting Everton to finish 10th, or wanting Everton to become a laughing stock so that Rafa Benitez leaves the football club. I simply can't subscribe to it. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion, and that's fine, but I can't sit here now and say I don't agree with the Benitez appointment, therefore I hope Everton fail this season. No, I don't agree with the Benitez appointment because I don't think he's the right man for the job, not because of his Liverpool connections or what he said in the past, but because I just don't think he's the right man at the right time for Everton, for where Everton are. However, I hope that I'm massively proved wrong. If Rafa Benitez is the new Everton manager, which let's be honest he is, And once he's officially announced today, and once we've got that official confirmation that Rafa Benitez is the new manager of Everton Football Club, I hope he's an absolute resounding success. I really, really do. I hope he's boss for us. I hope he wins us our first trophy in 25, 30 years. I hope he finishes in European football every season, because forget about who he is and where he's managed and whether we want him or not at the football club. We all want the same thing. We all want the same thing, and that is for Everton to be a success. That's for Everton to succeed. That's for Everton to win trophies. Younger Blues like me, 22, 23 years old, who have never seen Everton win a trophy, we're desperate. We are desperate to see, an Everton player lifting a trophy. We're desperate to have those celebrations. We're desperate to, be running around the city centre like, other fans are doing when their clubs are winning trophies and having an amazing night. We're desperate for that. Blues that have a little bit older and have seen Everton be successful, they're desperate. We're all desperate for Everton to get back to those glory days, for Everton to become a challenger again, because I've never seen Everton win a trophy, so I don't know what it's like to see Everton succeed. So that for me is horrible, because I just want to see Everton win something. Those Blues that have seen Everton win trophies, it's probably horrible for them, because they've seen Everton at the top of the pecking order, and now we're falling down massively. So we all want the same thing. We all want Everton to be a success. We all want Everton to win trophies. We all want Everton to be challenging at the top of the league. And if Rafa Benitez is the right man to do that, then ultimately I hope it's Rafa. But I hope it does. I hope he does do it. I hope it happens. I hope he's an absolutely unbelievable appointment for the football club. I really, really do. Do I think he will be? Look, time will tell. Time will tell, of course. But let's just hope he is. All we can do is hope he is, isn't it? And like I said, I just can't subscribe to this thought process of wanting Everton to fail, because Rafa Benitez is the Everton manager, and some fans don't really like him. We mightn't like him. We mightn't want him on the sideline. Again, for me, the way I see it is if that's the decision the board have made, and hopefully the board have made this decision based on the fact that they believe Rafa Benitez is the best man to take Everton forward, and not based on the fact that he's similar to Carlo Ancelotti and quite a comfortable option. Hopefully they've looked at Rafa Benitez and gone, actually, do you know what? If we want to be challenging for the Champions League, if we want to be winning trophies, if we want to be challenging with the big boys in the Premier League, Rafa Benitez is the best man to do that. Then I'm absolutely okay with that, and I'll back the team, and I'll back the club, and I'll back Rafa Benitez. As Torquay Toffee says, we at Everton FC, not Rafa FC, support the team. Exactly, support the team, even if you have to freeze out Rafa Benitez on the sideline. Let's be honest, we all sat through the Sam Allardyce era, didn't we? We all supported the side through the Sam Allardyce era, some of the worst, most boring football we've ever witnessed, a manager that nobody really liked or got on with. We all sat through that era. We all still went to Goodison Park. We supported the team. We've just sat through 18 months of Carlo Ancelotti, one of the biggest and most, glorified managers in the sport. We've just sat through 18 months of him playing arguably the worst football we've seen at Everton for a long, long time. We put up with it because he was Carlo Ancelotti, and there was this promise that once he gets better players and once things fall into place, we'll be this big successful team and we'll be absolutely boss. Well, it never happened. So effectively, if you were to sum up Carlo Ancelotti's managerial career, we've just put up with 18 months of absolutely dreadful football, awful home record, and we put up with it because we believed Carlo Ancelotti was the right man. If you'd have said to us, in December 2019, right, Carlo Ancelotti was going to leave in June 2021. He was only going to be here for 18 months. And with it being sat here last, November or when we lost to, Fulham at home, or when we lost to Sheffield United at home, we'd have all been saying, get him out. He's leaving anyway, so get him out. It's not good enough. But we put up with it because of who he was and the promise that he made that he was going to be here for a long, long time, and that, we were going to be successful under him. But we weren't, and he left, having playing awful football for 18 months, okay, having a great away record and getting over some massive mentality sort of humps in regard to the derby and the win against Tottenham, etc, etc. But the home record was dreadful. So for me, look, I wish Rafa Benitez is a massive success. I really, really do wish he's a massive, massive success. I hope I'm sitting here in 12, 18 months time, with a beer open and celebrating Everton winning our first FA Cup in 25 years, or our first League Cup, celebrating Everton finishing in Europe, because that's what we all want, don't we? Look, one thing I would say about Rafa Benitez is his bar is starting very, very, very low. Very, very, very low. We don't know how he will do. a lot of Evertonians are assuming that he'll do really poorly. I've seen a lot of people on Twitter saying he won't be here by Christmas, won't be here by the start of next season, won't be here by this, that and the other. And maybe that's right. Maybe he will come in, and because he doesn't play attractive football, he won't get as much time, or, you know, he's had a history of falling out with boards or directors of football in the past at other clubs, and maybe that'll happen at Everton, and maybe we'll all be sitting here saying to the board in 12, 18 months time, look, you know, we were proved right. Here we go. You know, he's ended up leaving after 18 months and not really doing anything, and we haven't, you know, achieved anything. But maybe, just maybe, have we ever thought about the possibility that we'd be sitting here and Rafa Benitez will have brought Everton our first trophy in 25 years? Because whether we like him or not, whether we think he's at the top of his game now or not, he's got history of winning trophies. He's got a history of winning European trophies with more than one team in England, by the way. Forget them. Even if you want to completely freeze out what he won at Liverpool, he won a Europa League at Chelsea when he had pretty much the entire Chelsea fan base be at his back, wanting him to leave, booing him on the first day it was announced. So if we're talking about a manager coming in under such pressured conditions, you know, to a club whose fan base is massively divided, and there's a lot of Evertonians that, you know, aren't willing to back him and aren't happy with him at all. Well, he done it at Chelsea in a very similar situation. Obviously, the history between Everton and Liverpool is much greater than the history between Liverpool and Chelsea, and I get that, but I was watching somebody put the video on Twitter the other day of him when he was first announced, Rafa Benitez, when he was first announced as Chelsea manager, his first game in charge. He was booed. He was booed by the entirety of Stamford Bridge. I watched a Chelsea fan, Rory, I'm sure you all know him, talk about it, saying it was the most toxic day he's ever witnessed at Stamford Bridge. But ultimately, Rafa Benitez ended up leaving Chelsea Football Club, having won the Europa League. So if you were to say to me, right, Cam, Rafa Benitez takes a long time for Evertonians to get behind him, takes a long time for Evertonians to back him, but he'll win you the trophy, he'll finish in Europe, then are we not happy with that? Or are we going to be unhappy because of who he is? Because I know full well if Rafa Benitez wins Everton a trophy, I'm not saying I'm going to start making songs up and singing his name left, right and centre, but I'll be absolutely made up, and I won't be wanting him out or wanting him to be sacked, this, that and the other, because of where he's been before. Because let's be honest, if it was any other manager and they won Everton a trophy next season or the season after, we'd want them to stay forever. So why is it any different with Rafa Benitez because of where he's been? And again, there's no guarantee he'll win us a trophy, there's no guarantee we'll do well, but there's as much possibility we'll do well as there is we won't do well. And I know he done okay at Newcastle, but their expectations are different to Everton's, and he went to Chan and he didn't do too well. And listen, they're all part of my concern. My concern around Rafa Benitez is that he hasn't been a top manager for 10, 15 years, that he hasn't won a top trophy for 10, 15 years, or sort of 8 years, something like that, I think it was in Italy. But he's the Everton manager now. So some fans will say, we don't have to back him, we don't have to support Everton. That's fine. If you don't want to renew your season ticket, if you don't want to watch Everton next season, if you don't want to buy any of the merchandise, if you don't want to back Everton, that's absolutely fine. That's entirely up to you. I can't do that. I'll back Everton no matter who's on that touchline. I'll back Everton no matter who's on that pitch, because I'm an Evertonian. I support Everton Football Club. I don't support Rafa Benitez. I don't support the players individually. I support anybody that represents Everton. And Rafa Benitez, by the end of today, will probably be representing Everton if he's announced. So I'll get behind it, and I'll get behind the club. And even if we don't like it, and if we don't want to accept it, you know, you can sort of freeze him out and go, actually, do you know what? Forget about that for a moment. Let's just back the football club and back where we're going in the future, because who knows? He might be a success. He might be a success, who knows. If you're enjoying this scene, by the way, please do hit that like button. It does only take a second. If you're new, don't forget to subscribe. It only takes a second. And we're trying to hit 4,500 subscribers as well. So if you could hit that subscribe button, it would mean a massive, massive amount to me. Let's get up on Twitter then to see if we've had any of the latest news. Because I know that it's going to be quite a hectic day today, probably, and there's going to be news coming in left, right, and centre. So if you see me going on my phone, then it's because I'm just checking the latest news. And yeah, I'm not being arrogant and you know, just sitting here on my phone. I'm checking to make sure that there's nothing breaking, because I don't want to be sitting here chatting about something and then there's been news that's been released that completely contradicts it. So yeah, listen, let us know what time you think Rafa Benitez will be announced. Again, I can't sit here and confirm it'll be today. The Athletic said it'd be today. Various other sources last night said it'd be today. I think the Telegraph said it'd be tomorrow, so that's a bit strange that they'd come out and say that. But Sky Sports have said today. Vinny O'Connor has been at USM Finch Farm today and said that Rafa Benitez has arrived at USM Finch Farm. He is due to meet David Unsworth, Duncan Ferguson and Leighton Baines later on today or throughout the day ahead of his announcement. So we can only assume that he will be announced at some point today. So let us know your times. This is the best part of any managerial appointment, isn't it? It's the best part of any sort of appointment at a football club, is trying to guess what time it'll happen. So announcement bingo has fully started. Announcement bingo is fully started. So let's get it in the live comments. If you're watching live, let us know what time you think Rafa Benitez will be announced. 12, 1, will it be 5, will it be 3? Let us know in the live comments. Let's have a little bit of fun with this, because listen, Rafa Benitez is going to be the new Everton manager, whether we like it or not. We can't do anything about it now. He's at Finch Farm, he's agreed his contact according to various other sources and journalists, so he's going to be the new Everton manager. So let's have a little bit of fun with it. If we don't like it, at least let's have a little bit of a guess as to what time he's going to be announced. Let's get into some of the live comments then before we move on with the live stream. Blue Boy Stew says, let's be frank, Ancelotti was world class and arguably was worse than Silva, so we need to get over whoever the bleeding manager is, although I really was it right to cry if it was Gerrard. It's not Gerrard though, is it? So we don't have a right to cry. Well, you do have a right to cry, but we don't, on that logic, you're not going to cry. But no, I agree, Blue Boy Stew, I agree completely. Lenny says 6'15", mad time, but there you go, 6'15". I hope not. I'll just get it announced now. If he's agreed a deal and he's at Finch Farm and he's got the Everton gear on, just get it announced now. Take a picture of him now and say, there you go, bang, bish bash bosh, he's the new Everton manager. Now we're going to look at going actually and getting a right back, because we desperately need a right back and we desperately need about 14 other players as well. EFC Graphics says 3. Sol says 5 PM when everyone gets out of work, maybe. Satu says 1 PM. Ian says 5. Torquay Toffee says 40 years a fan. I have seen some terrible managers also with swap players. Nick Barmby went to the Red, Sheedy, Ablett, Beardsley. Whatever is best for Everton is all that matters. Spot on, mate, spot on. Tom says 12 PM. Joe says 1 PM. You know what I was thinking last night? Obviously England were on last night and they won 2-0. Jordan Pickford, by the way, what a footballer. What a footballer. Played at the tournament by a mile. If you want to come in and chat to me about anything else, then you're chatting wrong, mate, because Jordan Pickford has played at the tournament by an absolute mile. What a player. Again, some of the criticism that I've seen some fans, some neutral fans on Twitter last night saying, oh, Jordan Pickford's a different player when he's at England to when he's at Everton. Clearly I haven't watched him at Everton this year then, have you? Because those types of performances were exactly what he was putting in at Everton in the last 4 or 5 months of the season. So he's just a brilliant goalkeeper. But I was thinking last night when obviously it was first, I think Jay Burt released that the deal had been agreed and that it was due to be announced over the coming days, and then Dominic King said something similar. I thought, they're going to announce it, aren't they? They're going to announce it. As soon as that final whistle goes and everyone's in good moods, they're just going to throw it out there. Oh yeah, by the way, we've got a new manager. But they didn't. Steve says, as Everton fans, we have to win us over, but he'll be under huge pressure from the media immediately. Matty says we need young, hungry players with energy and a point to prove, like when we signed Barkley, Godfrey, Calvert-Lewin. Our current players aren't motivated or good enough. Yeah, we need young, hungry, physical, athletic, motivated players, like you said, mate. Torquay says 5:01 and 33 seconds. Interesting. Matty says, I was young when Benitez managed Liverpool, so I don't remember him there. Is it any different to us signing Coutinho? Rafa wants the job and has balls to take it. I'm going to back him. Well, I don't want Coutinho because I don't think he's the type of player we should be signing. But I get where you're coming from. In terms of Rafa Benitez, like I said, I was watching, the video of him when he was first announced at Chelsea, and I was watching Rory talk about how toxic that was. One thing I would say about Rafa Benitez is it's very clear that he can work under pressure. It's very clear that he can understand fans' pressure and deliver under pressure, because let's be honest, no Chelsea fan believed that he'd win a European Cup when he was there. But he turned up, and although he went through an entire season of fans booing him and wanting him out and calling him into them and this, that and the other, he still managed to win them a major European honour, in which they haven't won many since then. Obviously, they beat Arsenal in the Europa League a couple of years ago and they won the Champions League, but they've won 4 or 5 European honours over the last 15, 20 years, and one of them has come from Rafa Benitez. Don't get me wrong, I'd take winning 4 or 5 European honours. So he can obviously work under that pressure. And look, Rafa Benitez is obviously still wanting to take this Everton job, even after all of the fans' protests, even after he will know that there's a lot of Evertonians that aren't happy with him. There's a lot of Evertonians that are against the appointment and aren't particularly impressed with him coming in as new manager. So doesn't that say something for Rafa Benitez as a professional? I don't subscribe to this whole he's only here to get a payday, he's only here because we're willing to give him some money. I don't agree with that. I think he wants to come to Everton to do the best that he can do, and I think he wants to come to Everton to prove probably a lot of people wrong. And look, he'll prove me wrong. If he's a success, he'll prove me wrong. I don't think he will be a success, but I hope he is. If he signs and he's the Everton manager today, the minute it is announced that he's the Everton manager, I hope he's a massive success. Luke says 2 p.m. Stephen says 12. Also says the sooner it's announced, the sooner we can sign players. Yeah. Samyak says Everton should get in for Isaac if possible. He has shown great potential. Yeah, unbelievable striker. Unbelievable striker. EFC Graphics says won't get the images, release the pics as soon as they're took, so may see it before it's announced. I doubt it, mate. I doubt it. You probably won't see it until it's announced, probably just because of the magnitude of it. But maybe. I don't know where I could. I know they've got a get the images. I've got an website, but I don't know if they announce things a little bit earlier. I don't know, but I would assume not. Sean says England last night, did you watch it? I did, mate, I did. Brian says let's get this announcement over the line. Wazenroot says welcome to Goodison Park. Toffee says exactly, bud. Razor says midnight when everyone's asleep. I hope not. Don't announce it at midnight, please. EFC Graphics says Golden Glove incoming. Yeah, 4 clean sheets out of 4 for Jordan Pickford, record breaking numbers. Some fans still don't believe he's a good goalkeeper, though. Get out of there, mate. He's the best English goalkeeper on the planet, and he's one of the best goalkeepers in Europe. Celtic Vape says, just have to accept this, but Primark will have enough bed sheets. But will Primark have enough? Listen, we don't know. We don't know, do we? Maybe they'll have to stock up. Maybe Dunell Mill will be going flying now. They'll be on the blower, like, get bed sheets in ASAP, mate. Big Nozzer says, England's number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Sean says Pickford's best goalkeeper in the competition by a mile. And Jack Lad says the fan base is a joke, an embarrassment. The funny thing is a lot of fans would have took Gerrard. That proves where we are, downwards trajectory. I wouldn't have took Gerrard personally. 2, I'm released from his position at 5. Sam Allardyce hired at 6. Oh, imagine the fume. Imagine the absolute fume. Let's get to the top of the comments then, before we move on. Gary says, hi guys. Hi Gary. Luke says, morning Cam. Morning Luke. Lenny says, morning Cam. I reckon Rafa will be announced at some point this evening. There you go. Chenlar says, your title's wrong, Cam. It should be Rafa Benitez arrives at Finch Farm, sees Andre Gomez in training and leaves instantly. Yeah, I'd imagine it, mate. I wouldn't blame him, to be honest. Not just for Gomez, but for a lot of the players in this event. This was my argument about Antonio Conte. Everyone going about Antonio Conte. Antonio Conte would arrive at Goodison Park or arrive at Finch Farm, see half of the Everton players and go, you know what, boys, I'm getting off. I don't want to be here. And listen, it is what it is, isn't it? The steam's acting up a little bit. I think it's freezing a little bit, so hopefully it sorts itself out in the next couple of minutes or so. Again, I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure what's going on there. Probably just my internet having a little bit of a nightmare. If you're enjoying it though, please do leave a like. 170 people watching. If you could hit that like button, it would mean a great deal to me. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe as well. Close now to 4,600 subscribers now, so if you could hit that subscribe button, it would mean a massive amount to me. George says, sweet, I can actually get excited about the season now. Well, not officially announced, but he has arrived at Finch Farm. Nick says, morning Cam, what's happening, Nick? Good to see you, mate. Jack the Lad says, joke of a club, I ain't spending no money on games next season. Lenny Vape says it's going to be 6:15. Celtic Vape says 12 p.m. JJ Lineker says, morning Cam, I reckon it's going to be announced at 4:30. Morning, mate. You go 4:30 in the afternoon. Big No says, wrong attitude, Jack the Lad. Chenlar says, midnight, they will hope everyone will be asleep and miss it now. No, just get it announced early as possible. If you get it, let's say they announced it in a minute. Hopefully not, because we're live. Let's say they announced it in a minute. I reckon by about 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, everyone, most Evertonians, maybe I'm wrong here, but I personally think most Evertonians will have gone, yeah, do you know what? He's announced now. Let's just get it over with. And the footy's on tomorrow again. And hopefully over the next couple of days we'll start to be linked with some real good quality players to bring in to improve the squad. So who knows? T-Bot says be great if they didn't announce it. They're not gonna. And he's just there. He's just there against Southampton on the touchline. We're all sitting there in Goodison Park going, who's that on the touchline there? Jack the Lad says, no way, I'm a true blue. I can't watch games in the next Liverpool manager in the dugout. You crazy? There you go, that's your opinion, and that's absolutely fine, mate. C-Play says 3 or 4. Or 3, 2, 4. T-Bot says, yeah, I get that. It's tough, I get that. Big Nozzer says, good luck to Rafa, get behind him. This is Everton, our club, never turn your back on them. C-Play says, True Blues support the club no matter what. Jack Delat says, the fans that wanted Rafa, you should be embarrassed. This isn't Everton way. Well, doesn't matter whether fans wanted Rafa Benitez or not. The board wanted Rafa Benitez, and ultimately, that's all that matters, isn't it? You know, whether the fans want him or not. There's a lot of fans that very clearly didn't want him and voiced that opinion to the board, but that decision's been made anyway. Where are we then? Where are we? Cplay says, people have made our fan base look like scum. T-Bot says, I think every fan is valid in what they think about Rafa. Our fan base did that themselves, part of it at least. Cplay says, you won't be complaining if we get Champions League or win something. I certainly won't. Mike says he will turn this moribund collection into of garbage into a vibrant hub again, guaranteed. Let's hope so, mate. T-Bot says, as everyone who supports him will hate him when it goes wrong. Big Nozzer says, he's not my choice by a long way, but we must get behind him. And Chris says, hi Cam, I love my club too much to not get behind Rafa, so hopefully he'll be successful. Shout out to Pickford's performance last night. Exactly, mate. Shout out to Pickford's performance all day. Absolutely brilliant. But no, I agree. Look, I've said before, Rafa Benitez isn't my first choice as Everton manager. He wasn't my first choice. For various different reasons. The Liverpool connection isn't one of them. You might be shocked. But the Liverpool stuff, for me, isn't one of those reasons. For me, it's the style of football. It's the fact that he hasn't really been at the top level for a long, long time. And I just don't think he's the right man for the job. But as I've said before, he out of all of the managers that we've been linked with, and out of all of the names that we've seen thrown about over the last couple of weeks or so, Rafa Benitez is very much, let's be honest with ourselves, is very much the most like Carlo Ancelotti out of every single name. You know, again, two ways Everton could have gone about this. They could have brought in a new, young, pragmatic manager who maybe plays nice attacking football, but the risk of having to start the process again and having to go back to square one and having to bring in a manager that's going to employ their style of football and their system and their way of doing things. Or Everton could have looked for the closest thing to Carlo Ancelotti, a manager with experience, with Premier League experience, with experience of winning top European trophies, and who plays a very similar style of football to Carlo Ancelotti. And that is what Rafa Benitez is. Rafa Benitez is very, very similar to Carlo Ancelotti, only he hasn't won anywhere near as much as him, but he's won European trophies, he's managed in England before, and obviously he plays quite a similar style of football. He's almost like Carlo Ancelotti light, if you like, and that's no disrespect to Rafa Benitez. That's just, he's the closest thing to Ancelotti than any of the other managers on that list were. So maybe that's the reason Everton have gone with him. I just hope that, and I really do hope this, and I don't know whether Everton are going to come out and talk about this or speak if this is the case or not. Probably not, but I really, really just hope that we haven't employed Rafa Benitez because he's a safe option to take us in to Bramley-Moore. And I know there's some fans that believe that is the case. I know there's some fans that say it's obvious why he's here. He's here because he'll stabilise us, he'll add us a bit of consistency, he'll be here for 3 years, and then when we move into the new stadium, he'll move on. I hope that's not the case, because the club's ambition, according to the club in AGMs and different meetings and interviews and this, that and the other, the club's ambition is for Everton to become, you know, a disruptor brand, if you like, for Everton to be one of those teams that are breaking into the top six, that are challenging those top six teams to the, you know, the top places in the Premier League, that are fighting in European competitions, that are winning trophies, you know, year in, year out. So if that still is Everton's ambition, then I really, really hope they've appointed Rafa Benitez, because they believe he's the right man to achieve that ambition, and he's the right man to achieve those goals, and he's the right man for the job, and not just because he's a safe pair of hands. Now, listen, maybe Rafa Benitez is the right man for the job. Listen, he's got experience of winning trophies, he's got experience of, you know, being at the highest level of football, of club football. Yes, it was, you know, 10, 15 years ago, I understand that. But he's still got that experience, he's still been there, he's still done it. So hopefully the reason Everton have appointed Rafa Benitez, or will be appointing Rafa Benitez in the coming, you know, hours and days, whatever, is because they believe he's the right man to you know, turn Everton into a successful side, the right man to take Everton into challenging, you know, for European titles, challenging in the Premier League at the highest level in the Premier League, you know, really sort of turning Everton into that team that people look at every season and go, actually, do you know what, Everton could break into the top 60, or Everton could break into the top 4. Hopefully he's not just there because he's you know, he's just an easy option for us to go with. He's similar to Carlo Ancelotti, and he's a safe pair of hands for a couple of years until we move into the new stadium, because I don't think that's right for me. And if the club And if the board genuinely believe Rafa Benitez is the right man for the job, if the club and the board genuinely believe Rafa Benitez is the man to take us forward and is, the best candidate out of the names available, then so be it. I'm happy with that. I'd rather the board, to be honest. Liam says stabilisation and stability should be our short-term goal. I think sometimes if you go too far too soon, it can go back up, mate. Fair enough. And again, I said it before, I think Rafa Benitez is a short-term solution to a long-term problem, and I don't really like that. But maybe you're right, Liam. Maybe that's what we need at the moment. What I would say about the whole appointment is that I would rather Everton's board employ the manager that they believe is the right man for the job, even though there's a little bit of animosity, surrounding the appointment, even though there's a little bit of, negativity surrounding the appointment, than go out and bring in Eddie Howe. Not because he's the right man for the job, or not because they believe they've got any faith that he'll do a good enough job, or that he's good enough to manage Everton, but just because he's not got a lot of fans, against him, and just because he's not got that animosity that maybe that Rafa Benitez comes with. Because then the club are employing a manager that they don't believe can do a good enough job, that they're probably not going to back because they don't believe can do a good enough job, and that is only coming in because the number one target, who they believed was the right man for the job and was the man to take us forward, has got, a connection with a certain other club, and fans aren't really behind them, or some fans aren't really behind them. So I'd rather Everton, like I said, grow a pair of gonads, if you like, go out and get the manager that they believe is the right man for the job, even despite the fact that he might have a lot of fans that are against them to start with. He might have he might have to build those relationships up, and I've said it before, Rafa Benitez is starting from a low bar of expectation, isn't he? Really, let's be honest, there's not many Everton fans that are sitting here thinking this will be a success. There's maybe a lot of Everton fans that are sitting here saying they hope it's a success, like me, and I'm sure a lot of Blues are saying that, because listen, if he's going to be the new Everton manager, which it looks exactly like that, he's at Finch farm now, the deal was agreed last night according to various other journalists, then if he's the new Everton manager, surely we all hope he's a success. But I don't think there's a lot of Blues that expect him to be a success. So he's already coming in with this bar that is pretty much rock bottom, that a lot of Evertonians are expecting him to fail. A lot of Evertonians are expecting this to go west quite quickly. And hopefully Rafa Benitez can come in and prove a lot of us wrong, and hopefully he can come in and be a massive success. And look, whether he will or not, we don't know. Only time will tell. But obviously the board and the club believe that he is the right man to do that. And if they believe that he's the right man to do that, then we've got to back that. And if ultimately, look, let's be honest, if he's not the right man for the job, and we are sitting here in 12, 18 months time, or whatever it is, and we're talking about, having to go out and get another manager because Rafa Benitez didn't do a good enough job, then we can actually start seriously, I think, looking at the board and trying to, basically questioning the board's decision to make football and questioning the board's ability to make footballing decisions. But like I said, who knows? Rafa Benitez might be a massive success at Everton. He might be an absolutely monumental success. And if he wins us a trophy in our first season, is anybody going to be annoyed? Is anybody going to be unhappy? Is anybody going to be frustrated? I won't be. If he wins us a trophy in our first season, I'll be absolutely over the moon. Over the moon, mate. Sorry about that. Let's get into some of the comments then. 200 people watching live. That's unbelievable. If you're watching and you're enjoying, please do hit that like button. It does only take a second. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. If you could get to 100 likes, that would be unbelievable. Don't forget, by the way, if you're watching the live comments, get your times in. What time do you think Rafa Benitez will be announced? Announcement bingo time is fully on the go. What time do you think it'll be? Do you think it'll even be today, or do you maybe think it'll be tomorrow? If you do think it'll be today, what time do you think it will be? Get it in the live comments, and we'll get involved with as many of them as possible. If you're watching, by the way, please hit that thumbs up button. If you're new, don't forget to subscribe. We're aiming towards that 4,600 subscriber mark now, which would be amazing. If you're watching as a YouTube video as well, and he hasn't already been announced, leave your times in the comment section down below, and I'll try and look through them all, and if anybody's right, then yeah, boss, you're boss at guessing. Liam says, in a way, I like the fact that they aren't listening to fan opinions at the moment. Makes me feel this appointment may be more professional and made with the head rather than the heart. Either way, Everton, aren't we? And that's it, mate. That's it. Danboy says, bit of a cough there, Cam, if you've done a lateral flow. It's just me asthma, mate, to be honest. If you want me to be completely honest, I forgot to take me inhaler before I started. So my asthma's playing up a little bit. It's not anything else. I hope not anyway, touch wood. Liam says, like up, Blues. Thank you very much, Liam. Brother says, hammer time. Jonathan says 230, Ford says 3, Schoolshine says 1, JC says 1, Liam says 30 seconds to Jalemba, Jedi says 1, but no, yeah, like you said, as Liam says there, look, this appointment is obviously being done because the club believe Rafa Benitez is the right man for the job. I don't want to say they've ignored fan opinions and they've ignored, the fans' feelings towards it, but I think they've certainly weighed up, fan opinions and ultimately how successful they believe Rafa Benitez will be, and I think that's important. If the board were to come out now, or Marcel Brands was to come out now and say, okay, we understand that a lot of fans aren't happy with the Benitez appointment, we understand that he's not a manager that particularly creates a lot of excitement surrounding Evertonians, but we genuinely believe he's the man that's going to take us forward. We genuinely believe he's the man that's going to win Everton a trophy. He's the man that's going to win, take Everton to, to the most successful they've been in a long time. Then I'd say, do you know what? Sound. Fair enough. Personally, I'd say sound, fair enough. A lot of Blues would say, no, I'm not happy with it, we still don't want him. But I'd say sound. If Everton come out now and we understand the fans' frustration, we understand that some fans aren't very happy with it, and I'm not saying they will or they won't come out and say this, but we believe he is the right man for the job, we believe he is the right man to take us forward, then I'd be happy with that. Because, ultimately the board are those in charge of the football club. The owner owns the football club, so the decisions that they make are going to happen anyway, whether we like them or not. So I'd rather than make a decision that they are absolutely convinced will be the right decision, that, like you said, Liam, is with the head, rather than make a decision based off of the heart and the emotion of the situation that they don't fully believe is the right decision, and therefore aren't going to back or aren't going to support in the transfer market or whatever. So yeah, there you go. Let's wait and see how that one pans out. Then it says, will the Rafa appointment push any players out? Richie James. We don't know. Celta Vape says, will Richie or James go? We don't know. There's been a lot made over the last couple of weeks of James Rodriguez. We spoke about him yesterday, of course, and the possibility that he could leave. A lot of rumours linking him heavily with a move to AC Milan, which was again not a surprise. Let's be honest. I said it, a couple of weeks ago when when Carlo Ancelotti left the football club. I sort of said that it wouldn't surprise me if we now start to see the rumours regarding James leaving. So. Listen, we don't know. I'd like to hope not. I'd like to hope James doesn't leave. I'd like to hope Richarlison doesn't leave. But ultimately, we don't know. We don't know whether they will. We don't know whether they won't. Because, we don't know the previous relationships that James has had with Rafa Benitez. We can read stories on the internet. We can listen to what we're being told. But we don't officially know from either party the relationship that they had. And Richarlison hasn't got a relationship with Rafa Benitez at all. He's never worked with Rafa Benitez. He's never worked under Rafa Benitez. So there's no reason as to why Richarlison, unless he isn't happy with the ambition of the football club and he knows something we don't know, there's no reason as to why Richarlison should be unhappy with this appointment as of now. That might change in a couple of weeks when he's met him. But again, as of now, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. School of Science says, are we still linked with Ivan Toney? We haven't been linked for a couple of weeks, mate. RCL2 says, get a left winger. Not another left back yet. We need a left winger massively. Jonathan says, James can go. Richie has to stay. Eric says, yeah, he's a good shout to be fair, but Inter and so Milan and Inter are in for him apparently. Bob says, Managerial is impressed with Rafa and both won Champions League. Yeah, that's what was said earlier on in the week, wasn't it? Simon says, the fact they don't tell us fans anything what's going on with the club is disgusting. Fair enough. Eric says it's another left back that we can turn into a winger, just left backs with the skill and athleticism to play on the wing. Ian says good engine. Danboy says if James goes, Matheus Pereira from West Brom, younger version of him with more pace and a higher ceiling. Potentially, again, Matheus Pereira is a name that I think Everton should be seriously looking at this summer, regardless of what James Rodriguez does or doesn't do. Freeman says, hope you hit 5k soon. Thank you very much, mate. That is the aim. The aim before the start of the Premier League season anyway. So if you haven't subscribed, please do hit that subscribe button. We're trying to hit 5,000 subscribers before the start of the Premier League season, so that would mean a great deal to me. If you're new as well, hit the like button. It only takes a second. Get your times in the comments for announcement bingo. When do you think Rafa Benitez will be announced as Everton manager? If it is to be today, what time do you think it will be? Very, very interesting to hear what everybody has to say on that one. Let me just go on Twitter and make sure that we haven't missed anything, because sometimes whilst we're doing these live streams we miss key information, especially on a day like this. No, we haven't missed anything. It is Tom Davis' 23rd birthday, so a massive happy birthday to Tom Davis. Hope he has a fantastic day, the midfield maestro. In regards to Rafa, what we know so far is that he's at USM Finch Farm. He arrived at USM Finch Farm earlier today. He is due to meet with Duncan Ferguson, David Unsworth and Leighton Baines throughout the day ahead of his appointment. And as per Sky Sport, The Athletic, Dominic King last night, a lot of journalists are coming out and saying he'll be announced at some point today as the new Everton manager. So, look, there we go. I'm sure we'll talk a lot more about Rafa Benitez in the coming days and weeks or so. We'll be sitting down, we'll be doing plenty more live streams, plenty more discussions about the future of Everton Football Club, the future under Rafa Benitez, what we can expect. And hopefully now, we can sit down and talk about some players. Because, let's be perfectly honest, I said it before and I'll say it again, and I know I might be repeating myself, but doesn't really matter who's on the sideline. It doesn't matter if I'm there. It doesn't matter if Rafa Benitez is there. It doesn't matter if Pep Guardiola is there. Obviously, those managers, set the team out and the tactics and all of this and all of that, and that's fine. But if you haven't got the players on the pitch to win your games of football, if you haven't got the players on the pitch to achieve what the manager wants, then what the manager wants is irrelevant, because he hasn't got the right players to achieve that. Now, Rafa Benitez might come in going, I want Everton to be a Champions League winning side. I want to turn Everton into a side that are competing in the Champions League year in, year out. Well, if that's his ambition, then Everton have got to go out and bring in 4 or 5 players this summer, and even that won't turn us into a Champions League, challenging side, but it'll take us a step closer. There's no point in Benitez coming in and saying, I want to turn Everton into one of the best teams in England, and then not making any signings this summer, because let's be honest, this squad isn't good enough to be that. Now, obviously, there's financial fair play and there's issues with that, and whether we need to sell players in order to buy players, or how many players we can bring in without selling. And look, maybe that'll force the club into some tough decisions this summer, who knows. But one thing is for certain, is that once this managerial stuff's out the window, and hopefully later on today it is out the window, and we can start to focus on bringing in players. And I hope I'm sitting here next week and we're talking about Denzel Dumfries again, or Matheus Nunes, or various other players that Everton can sign, because that's what we all get excited about, don't we? We all get excited about who we're signing and who's coming in to play for Everton Football Club. King Keith, the great, says Rafa is a yes man with no transfer pull. We saw this at Liverpool. Well, look, again, that's why we've got Marcel Brands, isn't it, a director of football, to make the transfers. Hopefully that Marcel Brands and Rafa Benitez have a good relationship. Dennis says McNeil from Burnley. Incessant RCO2 says Bailey, Sinsao, Sigankov, Jack Harrison and Blas. Interesting. Liam says, need Rafa to bring in a couple of them players with him. Can imagine the subscribers should get calm. Yeah, again, the Hammer stuff was amazing, wasn't it? Teddy Nash says, I'm giving him a chance. He should improve us. It's hard not to after our last few seasons. It is, yeah. It's true. Callum Snell, what's happening, Cal? Need to get you on the channel soon, Cal, by the way. And anyone else that wants to come on, if you're interested in ever coming on the channel, by the way, if you're watching the live comments and you're thinking, do you know what, I'd love to come on the channel, I'd love to be a part of this, I'd love to get involved in the conversation, drop us a message on Twitter at MightyBluesYT, drop us a DM and we'll get you on. We'll get you on as soon as possible, and we'll chat about Everton, because this isn't my channel. This isn't, I'm not sitting here, I'm the big I am, listen to me. This is all my opinion. It's not. That's why I like to read the comments. It's a channel for everybody. It's a channel for all opinions. So if anyone's watching and they want to come on, let us know and we'll sort it out. Callum Snell says, alright, Cam, we need to get behind him now. Obviously not everyone's first choice, but we need to start getting geared up for the season now and sort this oval squad out. Yeah, no, exactly, mate. Exactly. Look, he wasn't my first choice. He really wasn't my first choice, and that's for various different reasons that I've mentioned on a number of occasions before. But in the same way as that Nuno wasn't my first choice, in the same way as that, Roberto Martinez isn't my first choice. If that's the decision the club have made, then that's the decision I'll get behind. I'm not going to sit here and go, if it was Nuno, I wouldn't sit here and go, I'm not watching Everton again because it's Nuno. Because I didn't want Nuno, but I'll still watch Everton because it's Everton Football Club and they're my team, and I'll always support Everton. So I agree, absolutely, Cal, I agree, spot on. RCO2 says, we're only looking to sign a left-footed right winger, so I think I've looked at them, not many left wingers, because we've got Richarlison already, who scored 35 goals across 3 seasons. There you go. Keith the Great says, great channel, Cam, all the best. Thank you very much, mate, really do appreciate that one. Sol says, Cam, mate, absolutely smashing the content, subs are going through the roof, keep it up, pal. Thank you very much, mate. If you're enjoying and you're new, please do subscribe, leave a like if you're enjoying as well. Fruin believes Everton will announce it tomorrow. Bob says, think Rafa will make Davis even better. School of Science says, wait, Tom is only 23. Thought he was 25, 26. Nope, still 23 years old. Again, very, very young for the type of player he is. Simon says, be at 3 a.m. when we're all asleep. I hope not. I hope not, mate. Just get it announced ASAP, please. Dan Boy says, Tom Davis is 23, so underrated. He's brilliant and one of our most experienced players. That's it. Dennis believes it'll be 3 o'clock. Teddy says, I'm giving him a chance. He should improve us, as it's hard not to after our last few seasons. Liam says, need Rafa to bring a couple. We just read that one before, didn't we, Liam? Do you think we'll switch to a 4-4-2? I don't. RCL2 says, never forget Dwight Gale is one of the best strikers in the Championship. Ivan Toney won't score more than 10 goals this season. There you go. Interesting. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. Hopefully we don't pay stupid amounts of money for him if he's not going to score more than 10 goals next season. Jonathan says, any news on the backroom staff he is haven't believed meeting Baines, Unsworth and Ferguson? Yeah, according to Sky Sports, Rafa Benitez is due to meet Leighton Baines, Duncan Ferguson and David Unsworth at some point today. Doesn't mean that they're completely announced to be part of the backroom staff, but I would assume that they would be involved. But that's just a guess from me. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. Stewie says, if Rafa the Gaffer wins us a trophy, how Everton would that be? It would be, mate. What would be more Everton than not winning a trophy in 25 years and an ex-Everton manager winning us our first trophy in 25 years? And do you know what, mate? I would absolutely love it, because my love for Everton outweighs my hate or my dislike or my disinterest for Liverpool Football Club. So if you were to say to me, Cam, now Everton win a trophy this season, you wouldn't even have to mention what comes after it. Anything regarding football, but it's with an ex-Liverpool manager, but it's with Rafa Benitez. I'm not asked. You've just said that sentence there, Everton will win a trophy this season, is all I need to hear. That is it. That is it, completely done and dusted. Don't care if it's Rafa Benitez, don't care if it's Jurgen Klopp, don't care if it's me nan. If Everton are winning a trophy this season, I'm happy. And I hope it is Rafa Benitez. If he's announced as the new manager today, I hope he is the manager that breaks the trophy drought at Everton Football Club. Amanda Stevens has donated £20 to the live stream. Thank you very much, Amanda. Honestly, it means a massive, massive amount to me. Thank you so much. She says that Rafa will be announced at 1 p.m. There you go, interesting guess. And we'll start getting us into shape for Champions League. We all need to back him. If we want him to lose, we want Everton to lose. That would make no sense. Spot on, absolutely spot on, Amanda. I couldn't agree with you more. I really couldn't agree with you more. Thank you very much for the donation once again. I really, really do appreciate it. Honestly, it means a massive amount to me. You didn't have to do that, so I really do appreciate that. And I know you've donated before, Amanda. So honestly, thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. But no, 1 p.m. potentially. And you're right. Look, I've said it before. I can't subscribe to this whole wanting Everton to fail because of the managing in the dugout. No, if Rafa Benitez is the manager, I'm behind him, I'll back him and I'll back the team, and I want Everton to be a massive success. RCO2 says these players all left for Championship over 5 years ago. Everton Brooks is Everton forever for the players and staff. RCOT says nothing comes out anymore because the standard is embarrassing. John says, Cam, great channel, watch you all the time. Would love to come on channel to talk about Everton up to toffees. It's right, mate. Thank you very much, Jason. Defo, drop us a message on Twitter, Jason, if you've got Twitter, at MightyBluesYT, and we'll sort it out as soon as possible. Thank you very much, mate. Saul says, would love to come on the channel, Cam. I've started up a resistance training based Insta, therefore need all the experience in front of the camera. I can get crazy about Everton as well. Is right, Saul. Yeah, like I said, Defo, if you've got Twitter, drop. I say Twitter because it's very difficult to sort things out on YouTube because there's no messaging system. So if you've got Twitter, drop us a message on Twitter at MightyBluesYT. If you haven't got Twitter, literally only takes about 5 minutes to set up, if that, and you don't even have to use it for social media. If you don't want to use it for social media, just set it up, give us a follow and drop us a message on there. I don't even think you need to give us a follow, you can just drop us a message, and we'll sort it out 100%, mate. Definitely get us, we'll get you involved. School of Science says the Red fans would not let us live it down. Well, listen, if Everton win a trophy under Rafa Benitez, then what are Liverpool fans going to say? You won your first trophy with an ex-Liverpool manager. Not asked, we've won a trophy. We haven't won a trophy for 25 years. I've said this before and I'll say it again. I say it in every season when we're talking about, cup games and should Everton play a weakened team, Everton aren't in a position to pick and choose what trophies we win. We're not in a position to go, oh yeah, we won't try hard in this competition this season because we don't want to win it. We're not in that position. In the same way as that we're not in a position to pick and choose which manager wins Everton a trophy. If Everton are to win a trophy and it's done under Rafa Benitez, then it's done under Rafa Benitez. I don't care if it's Rafa Benitez or who he's managed before. If Liverpool fans are going to come, if you were to say to me, Cam, Liverpool fans give you loads of stick at the end of the season, but it's because of your first trophy that you've won in 25 years, Rafa Benitez has won for you, I'd go, get in, absolutely bring it on, because it means Everton have won a trophy, and I don't really care what anybody else has to say. I don't really care why, or where he's managed before, or that it's a Liverpool manager or ex-Liverpool manager that's won us a trophy. I'm not asked. Everton have won a trophy, so bring all of you. You can't chat anything to me. I'll just be smiling like that. Yeah, Everton have won a trophy for the first time in 25 years. Made up. Keith says, I just struggle to see this work, and that's fair enough, mate. That's fair enough. Eric says, my dream signing this year would be Rafael Lau or Leon Bailey. Out of all the names, the two would actually change the dynamic of the squad if we brought a young centre mid in. Yeah, fair enough. Lau would be a great signing, mate. Sol says, will do, mate. Cheers, Sol. Yeah, definitely drop us a message and we'll sort it out. Jack the Lad says, if a mate says something bad about you, are you going to refriend him? No, that's the same if someone says something about a club. Maybe, but look, again, time, a lot of people have moved on from that, and time moves on, and, you know, again, Rafa Benitez wasn't my first choice, and that wasn't because of his connections with Liverpool. That was because of various other things, but that doesn't mean that if he comes in, I'm not gonna back him. If you're enjoying it, by the way, please hit that like button. Only takes a second. Tom says, can we have 100 million to fix this team? Who you signing? Ooh, tough one. It depends on what players cost what. I'd love Denzel Dumfries. I'd love Leon Bailey. I'd love Rafael Lau. I'd love Diaby from Leverkusen. I'd love Anguissa from Fulham. I'd love Basuma from Brighton, but they probably cost a lot more than 100 million. Adams says, is Nunes and Dumfries any closer? Nunes, from what we're reading, is you know, Portuguese media believe he's practically done. He's just waiting for the green light. But again, that's just what we're reading in Portuguese media. And Dumfries is quieting down a little bit after the Euros, hasn't it? Keith says, Cam, would you settle with the Carabao Cup? 100%, mate. Absolutely 100%. Bob says, Rafa will come with a feasible plan. Ancelotti was just a hot air and £250,000 a game, man. It's a mad stat, that, isn't it? Mad stat. JD says, think we missed a tick getting Nuno. Think Spurs will do well. Nuno best out of a bad bunch. See, I didn't want Nuno, but there you go. It's all an opinions game, isn't it? Eric says he's still young and will technically improve over time in the Prem. Don't quite know what you're talking about there. RCO2 says, I take Dan James on loan for the bench. Bailey and Diaby. I'd take Dan James on loan for the bench, mate. 100%. Dan James on loan as a backup winger would be amazing. Imagine Everton having an option in, you know, on the 60th, 70th minute of bringing on a lad that's got absolute pace to burn, that'll just run rings around defenders. Imagine having that option. Imagine it. How unbelievable would that be? We look at our bench now and it's like, oh my God, we've got no one to bring on. Imagine having a lad who can just run. It'd be unbelievable. Bitcoin says, Rafa has taken the biggest job on Merseyside. Yeah, let's hope so. RCO2 says, James barely played any games for United. Oh, James, sorry, not James. James. Jamie says, I'll back Rafa every step of the way, but whoever was to come in, we still need a right back winger and another midfielder minimum. Yeah, good point. And Eugene says, would you like Everton to sign Philippe Coutinho this summer? No, I wouldn't. I really wouldn't. Keith says, let's get a signing that fits in easily. I'll show two talking about Diaby, 10 assists, whereas Bailey would score over 10 goals. Joe says Dumfries is a 12 to 14 million pound buyout clause. I'm not too sure. I didn't know that was the case, but there you go. And Eric says, would United let James go? I don't see that happening unless they bring in another winger. But yeah, who knows? Look, you can only test the waters, can't you? Adam's asking if Anthony Martial doesn't play for United, should we get him? I don't know. I think he cost a lot of money. He's obviously had his injury issues as well. He's a great player though. Eric says if we had James in Cam and a front three of Richie, Dom and Bailey would be absolutely lethal. It would be. Jedi, I don't really want Lookman back. Vlasic is a good player, but none of these suits the Premier League. Brother says, reckon we're holding off player signings to double whammy, managing and player signings to soften the blow. Who knows, mate? Who knows? Bob says, no names, just athletic, strong players with a winning mentality. Spot on. RCO2 says Diaby is a lot faster than Bailey, but Bailey is a long-range shooter and is more aggressive. There you go. Well, look, we're going to finish it up there then. If you have enjoyed this one, please do hit that like button. It does only take a second. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe as well. If you're watching live in the live comments, big thanks to everybody for watching. Tried to get through as many of them as I possibly could. I really do appreciate it. 230 odd people watching. That is unbelievable. If you could hit that like button, it would mean a massive amount to me. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe as well. Only takes a second. We're aiming towards 4,600 subscribers now, which would be absolutely brilliant. So if you could hit that subscribe button, it would mean a great deal to me. We might be back later on today. If Rafa Benitez is announced, we'll have an announcement video going up, giving my initial thoughts and giving my initial reactions to the announcement, talking a little bit about it. It won't be a stream, it will be a video, but then obviously we'll be back tomorrow morning with another live stream talking a bit more about it. Or if he's not announced today, we'll probably be talking a bit more about where we're up to tomorrow. So don't forget to look out for those. Listen, subscribe to the channel, because as and when the Rafa Benitez news breaks, there'll be a video, me giving my thoughts, giving my opinions on it, and just talking about the appointment in itself. So if you haven't already subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. It's free to do, only takes a second, and it'll keep you up to date with all the latest Everton news and information as and when it happens on the Mighty Blues. Don't forget as well, by the way, if you are subscribed, I don't say this enough, hit that little bell notification sign next to the subscribe button. It's a little bell, you click it, and I think it moves a little bit, and basically what that does is it sends you a notification every time we upload or every time we go live. So if you're sitting there on your phone, I don't know, on Twitter or on Facebook or whatever, and we go live with some breaking Everton news, it'll come up as a notification, and then you'll be able to come on straight away, rather than, you know, waiting an hour and going onto YouTube and thinking, oh shit, something's happened in the meantime. So if you click that bell notification, it'll give you notifications, and yeah, you'll be able to find us. To find us live from there. King says announcing at 4. Let's wait and see. Jedi says thanks, Cam, it's coming home. Cheers, mate. Article 2 says 2 dip, but we're concerned about his dip in form. Adam says Pickford is amazing, mate. Egg says former temporary class is permanent. Nico says finally. Uden says see you back to toffees. And Article 2 says, but now he's had 3 outstanding seasons, it's time to go for him. I believe we will get either him or Diaby because we've scouted them heavily. I agree, one bad season doesn't define a player. There you go. I think it's talking about Bailey there as well. But there you go. Big thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed this one, leave it a like, subscribe if you're new. If you're watching the YouTube video and Rafa Benitez hasn't been announced yet, get your times in the comment section down below. Announcement bingo time. What time do you think it will be announced? You can give us the hour, you can give us the minute, you can give us the second. Let us know in the comment section down below. Massive thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon on the Mighty Blues.